Hello and welcome to Frown the Drips, Australia's #1 fashion judgment podcast.
I'm going to be real with you, Gabriel.
That's unfortunate.
When I started this episode, I really thought I would hate it and it would be bad because it looked like a Pete-centric episode.
Your point was correct though. You're like, it's a Pete-centric episode. If it's a Pete-centric episode, it's going to be about him trying to impress a girl and it'll be boring. And, and I agreed. I was like, yeah, you're right. That's exactly what it's going to be. And technically, yes.
But also, it went in a direction I did not think.
It was honestly really surprisingly good by the end of it. And I think
pissed me off how good it was.
Yeah, I think,
we got Pete impregnating a damn tree. And now we're having surfing contests. Anyway.
He got a tree pregnant.
That's the thing. They started peak.
Yeah,
you can't go downhill after impregnating the damn tree.
Yeah, it's like every Terminator design after Terminator 2 is just fucked because you just can't beat liquid metal Robert Patrick.
No.
Everything else is just, what if we put the liquid metal on some shit?
No.
Who cares? Doesn't matter.
It's not Robert Patrick.
This is like brown liquid metal. Who cares? Like, that's fucking meaningless. Like, it's like, it's kind of like this different material. So what? It's liquid metal. I don't fucking care.
This Terminator's made of nothing but entirely corn.
A corn syrup Terminator would be like,
Yeah.
I mean, that could be the next one for all I know. I haven't seen the anime.
So this episode is entitled Malibu. A play on the word Malibu.
Must be. One thing I noticed in the intro is like, the intro seemed to feature Pete more. And I'm kind of curious if we go back over it, if the intros have had more of a focus on who's going to be the main character for that episode. You know? Because I think they have been, and I just haven't been really noticing. And I think we had a couple of Bronson episodes, which sort of like naturally switches parts of my brain off, dedicated to like remembering and also shapes. Not entirely sure why. At any rate, this is Ever Felt Like This, the Australia's #1 podcast on Australia's #1 nostalgia television series, Round the Twist. I'm Gabriel Twist.
I am Amber Twist.
And this is... I'm just going to have a stroke and go right back into what I just said. So we open on like a dream sequence that's like not sepia toned exactly, but it has a bit of a vignette. Like it's definitely to like evoke a prior period.
It is. And the first thing I noticed about this intro was because it featured Pete surfing and many shots close up of Pete. And the waves are obviously not moving. He is in shallow waters.
Yeah, like they definitely did film on a beach, and they definitely got some shots of Pete standing in water, like filming him from a slightly lower angle. And I will say, at least they had that.
Yeah.
At least they had, they did, it wasn't all just like shots of like Pete at home in front of a blue screen, getting that shit done. So, points for location shooting,
And when it cuts to a long shot, it's a double doing a stunt double doing the surfing.
Double would be a generous description of this.
It looks like a 43-year-old man
which it probably
who has lived on the beach his whole life. So, like, he's a pro, but we're supposed to be conveying what? 16-year-old boy?
Yeah, and it does not do that.
No.
I mean, I suppose you could, I feel like if they just leaned into it a little heavier and made it very clearly not Pete, but I feel like that's dangerously, I think that's a bit too meta for even a 2000s show to manage. This really does get that we're trying to make it sort of look like Pete, but dear God, it did not. It's just clearly some dude. Like, you may as well, if you're watching these things without the sound on or you just looked up, you wouldn't even know it was supposed to be Pete surfing. Really,
No.
And so, Pete's daydream of surf victory, is his little personal fantasy. And something actually I quite liked with this one was, the openings are frequently related in some ways, but this one directly rolls into the episode as it's Pete's daydream. And he's, doing an exam and not really doing it.
Which I like.
Yeah. No, I think that's a real good way. It's a great economy of time thing. Because you're not wasting time farting around with a fucking intro sequence that's not, may or may not be attached to anything. This way this legitimately established a major point of the episode, and it's technically prior to the episode starting. Points.
So yeah, they're awake to an exam. It's the finals exam for the year, and cut to Pete doing the exam. Cut to Bronson doing the exam, as there's only like 20 seconds left or something.
Yeah.
And this always bugs me in these sorts of things when they're just someone just goes and starts scribbling like every answer. But the thing is, we never see them to any composition of before. So is that how they were just doing the whole test?
Were they multiple choice?
Multiple choice, yeah.
I mean, for Bronson's age, there'd definitely be a lot of multiple choice. Probably for Pete's age too, actually. I mean, there'd be some short answer ones. Probably around Pete's age and older, they'd be getting like, maybe a few in-class essays, but not that many. But like there was one bit in this, like when it cuts to Bronson and he's doing his test, some little girl is giving him the fucking stink eye. And I thought she was going to be part of the episode. I was like, all right, well, that's obviously there's a subplot involving Bronson and this little girl who hates/loves him. Nope. Just this little girl hates Bronson. Okay. I get that. And then just, I mean, as far as I remember, they didn't like it because the final exam block and shit is usually like a fortnight or so before the end of school. There's usually like just some like kind of pointless bits and bobs that you do wrap up. So it's not like, oh, you finished, all right, fuck off. But I don't know. I think Port Niranda is technically its own dimension.
Yeah, we got to remember it's a small surf town. So they probably only go to school 2 weeks a year.
Yeah.
The rest of their time, they're like surfing.
To learn how to do the fishing.
And so Pete doesn't finish the exam.
He's busy daydreaming about surfing.
Which is a bad time to be sleeping in an exam.
Yeah, like I always figure like you could probably just make up fucking answers to the goddamn exam and then, then daydream after that,
So what happened next? Because I've got a little bit of a gap here I've written down. I think I missed something after Pete doesn't finish.
All right, yeah, well, so there, all the kids are pouring out of the school and, Linda's bragging about doing the exam because she says it was like all out of the book. So like she studied and knew how to do it. And Pete's like, grumbling about it being sort of hard. And then he goes, well, look, I'd rather be happy and popular than just, some good at exams person like you to Linda. And then Linda comes back with a delightfully vicious, but you're not happy or popular.
That's right, yeah.
Which is it hits him. It's one of those, my favorite forms of insult, which is the deadly accurate one. Whereas it's like, well, I got to wear that. And he sort of does, but then he sees a surfboard at the local surf shop and wants it. And he can't have it, though, because he's a poor.
Yeah. And the bullies come and, like, bully him for, like, looking at something and liking something.
For having, for desire. The bullies come up to mock him for the very unzen behavior of want.
And they chase him off, and immediately...
but then Gribble wants
the board.
Yeah.
He's like, I need that for the surf competition. And it's like, all right, buddy. And they're like, they ask Gribbs, like, because he said, I want that. I need the money for it, even if it takes me the hard way. And Rabbit goes, what? Get a job? Gribbs goes, no, break into me dad's safe.
And borrow the money.
Borrow the money.
Yeah, because, like, he does want the board, and his father can afford the board, but his father shall not purchase Gribble Jr. the board. And so, yeah, he's going to just borrow the money. And then we cut to fucking Tony whacking shit for art, because we remembered what his fucking job is supposed to be.
Yeah, well, like, we see Tony making art, quotations, occasionally. And usually it's been in the vein of someone's commissioned something, he'll say...
Yeah.
But this time he's just whacking a lockbox on a chair.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the fuck was even going on exactly, because like a lot of the time you can at least see what he's doing. It's a sculpture of some description. But this time it was just, I suppose that might be one of those installations like you do, like a live thing. You're there at the fucking gallery, and it's like, all right, here's my art, and then I just pick up a mallet and start wailing on shit, which does tempt. And then so Pete runs in and asks for money for a surfboard. And Tony says the heart says yes, but the bank says insufficient funds.
When did Tony get funny?
Yeah.
Because he's never been funny. He's always been like he's had that really poor dad humor.
He's been goober.
Yeah.
But this was actually clever. This was the heart says yes, but the bank says insufficient funds, and it's like
So he then suggests he's got I found this old board in the shed. It's a Malibu. And it's like, oh, he said the thing.
Yeah.
And that's obviously our mystical item for the episode.
Yeah, the enchanted longboard.
Yeah. So which Pete he just tells him to use that.
And look, fair enough. It's a surfboard.
Which is
I'd probably need a longboard. The only time I ever tried something, I was too heavy, and I need like a big board because I need a boat, effectively, or some kind of kayak.
What if we just put a boat motor on you?
I'd be okay with that. It'd be like the old cartoon series Centurions. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I'd be man and machine, power extreme, and it'd just be me with an outboard strapped on, and I'd be tearing. I'd be great. I'd be okay with that. Just watch the legs, just that's it.
Speaking of I just want to go on a slight tangent. Outboards like motors. We were watching Conan in where was he? Was he Thailand?
Thailand, yeah.
Yeah, and the Thailand has the floating markets
Yeah.
where all the floating stores are there, and you come through in your little canoe and you can put butt and stuff. And in my mind, I did not picture giant fuck off outboard motors on a lot of these things.
Yeah, they're strange, as I said, really long fucking drive shafts too. I'm not sure why that is. Like, I suppose it might be to help them like navigate, like you can get better angles maybe or something.
I have no idea, but yeah, they're tearing butt up and down that river buying this stuff. Because like in my head, I just picture canoes.
Yeah, like especially because it's probably not that fucking deep.
No,
like, I'm guessing it's like deeper than like me, but like I figured you could reach it with a pole. You could punt.
Yeah, exactly. So it was quite Anyway, outboards. So yeah,
that's right. Strapping an outboard to me.
Yeah. So Pete gets the Malibu.
Yeah, and then we cut to the beach the next day, and they remembered the autistic kid.
That they did, except they made him a lifeguard.
Yeah, like
that's not happening.
No, I mean he's up there.
He's the lifeguard for the whole beach. This isn't like this is like the kids' high school section.
Yeah, or like a fucking wading pool or something.
No,
he's up there with a bunch of weather technology stuff because he's like tracking a storm.
Oh yes, spinny thing.
Yeah, and like okay. But also, he's the lifesaver, and you kind of have to be really good at swimming for that, and also like an adult, because you will be expected to rescue people when they eventually do get sucked out by a rip.
Yes.
And fucking cunts die, man. Like,
you can't fight water.
No, like literally the ocean is drinking you.
Yeah.
Like the thing about a rip is you just got to go, okay, and you just got to wait. Just float. Because the rip does loop around. You'll be like maybe like half a kilometer down the beach, but you'll wind up close to it again, and this time the water's pushing you toward it.
Because if you try to fight it, you were not fighting it. You were just wasting your strength and energy, which you need afterwards to swim.
Yeah, to survive, because otherwise you will fucking drown.
Yeah.
I mean, Dad got nearly absorbed by a rip one time.
I think it brought him closer to the ocean. I think your father is Aquaman.
I think it spat him back out, basically. It's just because that's what happens. It pulls in, but like because it's water.
I've seen him talk to cod.
Yeah, he's able to talk to fish, and horses hate him. I'm not sure what that's about. That's a real thing, man. Like I don't know what it is, but like I thought like he was talking about his dad's horse hating him because like I don't know, maybe he threw an apple at its head or something. But like no, just I don't know. Every time I see him get near a horse, it might be because he gets nervous, and so that puts the horse on edge. Or just horses hate him. I don't know. Like, honestly, it does look like that. Like, I don't have a very good explanation for the alternative, but I also just can't believe that horses automatically hate my dad on sight. Unless there's some kind of weird horse genetic memory.
Like, I don't know. I've seen geese hate certain people.
There was that goat that hated my brother that time, but that was just a goat, and it was, I don't know.
It's told the goat community it's over.
Yeah, the goat community is well aware.
Your brother is not welcome near the paddocks. For
no reason.
So yeah, Pete talks himself up after not listening to the nerd talk about weather and how it's going to be dangerous. He talks himself up to the women on his first surfing endeavor, which is bold.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Because we've never seen Pete surf or talk about
And
surfing.
Generally, if I'm going to brag about something I'm going to do in front of women, I want to have at least practiced it at home.
Yeah.
Or done it once.
Yeah. Like beating off. They'd be really impressed. So...
Whoa.
Yeah, Pete goes out into the ocean on his longboard, and everyone's laughing at him because he's paddling out, and
it's a
laughing at his
longboard.
longboard, calling it an ironing board. I've never seen an ironing board this big, kid. What are you
That is
talking
a
about?
fucking colossal ironing
Yeah.
board.
So Pete gets out, he gets up on the wave, and he starts surfing. Well, Pete doesn't. The old man, who is Pete,
Yeah,
starts
the old
surfing.
man and the Pete. Just like fucking. And then we get some, shots of actual Pete at the beach, which is nice.
And Pete's doing well. Everyone's impressed.
He's actually balancing on the board, so fair.
And then a ghost comes out of the board.
Naturally.
Just it's cool. I like the effect.
Yeah, because he's like a surf ghost, so like he bubbles up out of the board like
Yeah.
water. And then this is how we're introduced. Just Cowabunga Daddy-O Moondoggy's back right at Pete. And which naturally, to be fair, even though Pete does have experience with ghosts, this startles him off the board and alright, look, that's
He wipes out and everyone is like, oh.
Yeah, like I know birds exist, but if one just popped out of the wall, that would startle me.
Imagine living in a fucking town where your day-to-day life is judged by everyone else. Because that's what Pete is caving here to. The pressure, because everyone's like, when he's doing well, they're like, yeah. When he's doing shit, they're like, Pete, you suck, kill yourself.
That's
And
what small town life was like.
that's
though.
awful.
Like, yeah, it was just, like you do one fucking stupid thing. It's like, hey, there's stupid thing, cunt, and that's just you forever. So now you have to move away.
I'm a very typical type of stupid person. It's very stereotypical. If this town was that size, it'd be over for me.
Oh yeah, you'd have to wait for somebody else to do something else.
Exactly.
That's why you'd encourage, like, I don't know, you'd try to get Gribble Jr. into gymnastics or something.
Yeah.
Just something to make him look, because you generally, you just don't want to be the most embarrassing nitwit.
Yeah.
Like, you can be the second most embarrassing. No one gives a shit about the second most embarrassing nitwit. And this character is Moondoggy Throckmorton, which is complex.
Because, like, it could have just been Moondoggy Morton.
Yeah, like...
Or Moondoggy Throck.
Well, the Throck... Yeah, no, the Throckmorton name is... I don't know if it came from it, but I feel like it was at least most famously in... I think it's Shadow over Innsmouth. It's one of H.P. Lovecraft's weird sea people stories. So the Throckmorton, is kind of a reference to, I don't know, I'm assuming fucking Moondoggy's just spends his fucking prior to now afterlife having to perform surf stunts for Cthulhu. Which, feels like it could be fun if you're into surfing.
Yeah, so Nell is telling Pete about Moondoggy.
Yeah.
She has a photo of him, of course, and says that, if she was a few years younger back then, and it's like, Nell, how old are you?
Yeah,
because that was like, what, the 60s?
It's the 60s, yeah. It's like early 60s too. Like,
Yeah.
fucking pop 60s, not like hippie 60s. So, like, he's talking about how, like, yeah, Moondoggy, sent all the girls, like, fucking, mad. And yeah, Nell says, if I'd been a bit younger. And it's like, are you 1,000? Because the problem is this Nell doesn't look 1,000.
No.
Season 1 and 2 Nell looked 1,000.
This one looked like she enjoys a diet of nothing but coffee and cake.
Yeah, she's got like...
She's jolly instead of old and
Boomer
crotchety.
55.
Yeah.
And yeah, she is jolly too, which
And
I don't think fits Nell.
So one of the first things Nell opens with is that Moondoggy used to drive the girls gaga.
Yeah.
And so she finishes telling Pete about how he died. He surfed this giant big wave called Big Blue.
Yeah, Big Blue, which is a storm that is a tidal wave that's generated by a cyclone.
Yeah.
And it requires a big storm, and then he went out to surf Big Blue and fell off the board and vanished, and the board got wedged into the side of the lighthouse.
Yeah. Now, my brain got confused at this because he said his Malibus was sticking in the edge of the lighthouse. And to me, Malibus are a pair of thongs as well.
Yeah,
because there's a brand Malibus.
Huh.
So just my brain skipped.
Yeah,
there.
I can see how you'd get there too. From like, I suppose you probably can't surf with thongs on, but I just don't know enough about surfing. I don't know. Yeah, sure. People back in the 60s used to wear they'd wear a full suit to the beach and just have a pair of nice leather shoes, and that's why the board was so long. To walk around, wear them in.
Yeah. So Nell finishes telling him, and all Pete says is, girls went gaga, you reckon?
Yeah.
And
he's
I
funny.
start having a laughing fit.
Yeah, I'm looking down because I'm taking notes. Amber starts fucking laughing like a maniac. I'm like, what the fuck happened? What? And I look up, and then, you're like, reverse, and you rewind it. And that's when we see what the fucking algorithmically generated fucking subtitles
I
have
hope
done.
at this point.
Huh?
I hope they're AI at this point.
It's
because remember, these were put on quite a long time ago, so that AI probably wasn't there.
Well, I mean, like, it still could have been like just a.
Oh yeah, true.
A fucking voice.
I want it to be someone so badly.
It's probably like if it's a human being, it's a Cambodian child.
Yeah.
That has just had English punched into it, because. You tell them what the subtitles turned Girls Went Gaga, you reckon, into.
Cosmic Gaga, you're egging.
And
that's why I was having a laughing fit, because like I didn't know if what I'd seen was right until I went back.
Yeah. Cosmic Gaga, you're egging.
Yeah.
And it's like you can, if you've got like fucking, what is it?
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. You could just go look at the episode Cosmic Gaga, you're egging.
It's at 6 minutes and 59 seconds.
The timestamp and everything.
Yeah.
That paused us for a minute.
Yeah.
We just needed a moment after that. Cosmic Gaga, you're egging. That is one of those pieces of beautiful fucking poetry. Because like a person couldn't come up with that,
No.
Because it would just be you're coming up, you try to come up with something silly. This has been generated, as a fluke by the universe. Cosmic Gaga. Or egging.
So we cut to the twists outside. They're having... Faye is sitting there marking exams. Everyone else is having some food and stuff. Yep. She's marking these very fast. She's just saying A, B,
She's just going on vibes. You're allowed to do that in primary school. None of that fucking
This child looks like a sea child.
Yeah, you just like kind of like, you could grab their head in your hand, roll it around a little bit, sniff them. You're just like, B minus.
Forever C! So yeah, Faye's doing that. Bronson gets every question right.
That's funny.
And he's like, what? And like, Tony says that, Pete, you should follow in Bronson's footsteps. I've seen your test results and they're not good.
Yeah. So Pete's failed and may have to be kept back. And Bronson has guessed his way to victory and maybe skipped ahead. And so we get like Bronson having a panicked dream sequence of being in the same grade as his brother. Which is...
And for some reason, he's wearing one of those little school caps.
Yeah, no, he's dressed like fucking Angus from AC/DC.
Yeah.
And like, it's a weird sequence. Like, if I had to describe the cinematography, I'd say it's closer to City of Lost Children than anything in the rest of fucking Round the Twist. Like, it's this low angle, grotesque surreality, like fucking, they ask a question and like weird dream Pete's just shouting the answer with his hand up and down, bouncing in his chair. He knocks Bronson out. A fucking, Greek chorus of horrid children are like pointing and laughing at him. Like, it's a deranged little sequence. And so Bronson is now determined to make sure that like Pete doesn't get held back.
Which, it's cute. I like Bronson's side story in this episode. Bronson is gold in this episode, and I do not give that up ever.
Yeah, no, that is fair. Like, one of the things about this episode is the primary story is not very strong, but like the subplots, and there are a surprising amount of them, but the thing is, each one of the subplots takes up exactly as much space as it should. Like this fucking Bronson trying to get Pete to pass, exactly the correct amount of time is spent seeing this. We get this weird dream. Okay, there we go. That's it. It's done.
Yeah.
We're not... At no point are we, okay, this should have been better, this should have been longer, because each thing is kind of as serious as it needs to be and gets the, requisite amount of time devoted to it, which will come up in the other subplot that we get.
Yeah. So after this, we get like a Moondoggy thing. So, because we need to know who Moondoggy is.
Get into the Moondoggies.
And he's like... talks to Pete about how he died.
Yeah.
And,
he needs to surf
he needs
Big
to
Blue.
surf Big Blue. That's because his soul's trapped. Otherwise, he can't pass on.
Yeah.
So Pete's like, I'd help you, but I don't know how to surf. Can you teach me?
Yeah, and so Pete bails on his like fucking, Australian studies
Because
homework.
yeah, he's trying to get it done, and like the ghost is like, "Come on, surf." He's like the Jesus on the shoulder.
I know, like imagine, this is like probably the best representation we've had of ADHD in like film.
Mm.
It's just like, oh, what's going? Well, I was trying to study, and then I started imagining like a surfer called Throckmorton and what he'd be up to, and that's where my brain went. And so now Pete's doing like the kind of faintly '60s new age Jedi training with his longboard on the beach, as like, Moondoggy is telling him in his preverbed voice to, that it must be about being one with the board and balance, and he has to like stare at the like fucking horizon and understand the sea.
Which is a lot.
That is a lot.
Thanks, Ghost Doggy. Oh, I'm not ready.
So anyway, the Gribbles need money. So Junior is breaking into his dad's safe. And look, all right, fair enough. And surprisingly, he just manages to break in, which I do appreciate. He just knows his dad's fucking password. In the safe is where fucking Matron has hidden the Viking Book of Love.
Not good.
No. And I can't remember what they were planning to do with it, because I know that they were...
To sell it.
That's right, yeah, they were going to sell it. I thought it was to sell it, but I hadn't written it down.
Because Gribble was like, I want you to go sell this and make sure they don't read any poems.
Yeah, he's like, make sure no one reads from it.
Yeah.
And he gives it to Rabbit to go sell, which is... I mean, like, if there's one thing you can say about, like, villains in kids' shows, it's that they are too trusting of their henchmen.
Mm.
Like, Brain keeps giving Pinky jobs, even though he knows Pinky's gonna fuck up. And Gribble Jr. gives the Viking Book of Love to Rabbit, who, in his finite wisdom, goes to try and sell the book to Nell. Nell wants to take the book away from him, and Rabbit goes, "Nah, Pete, Gribble told me not to, like, let anyone else read from it." And then he thinks, so I'm going to read from it. And so we get Rabbit reading Nell a poem from the Viking Book of Love, which results in Nell horny.
You hate to see it.
You do.
Because, yes, she just starts going, "Rabbit! Oh, Rabbit!" And then runs down the doorstep at him.
Oh, yeah, no, it's just fucking...
And he just drops the book and runs.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
Because otherwise he's going to be molested.
Yeah.
That is objectively what is going to occur.
Oh. Yeah, that was a lot, and it comes up more.
That's the third subplot. That is a subplot. Is Nell wanting to molest Rabbit and Rabbit having to like flee, which is funny as shit. Like if I were the other bullies, I'd like absolutely trip him over.
What happens next?
Pete's balancing the board on his head.
Oh yeah,
because he's doing the more Jedi training.
Yeah.
And like because he's been Jedi training all day, he walks back home and hasn't had time to study. But Bronson decides to help.
Yeah, so Pete's fallen asleep with the study books open.
Yeah.
And Bronson decides, I'll read to him in his sleep so he'll absorb the knowledge.
Learning kind of thing, yeah.
Which is cool until Bronson gets more bored like a minute in. Because he doesn't get far. No. And then he's like, and then he picks up a comic book and he starts reading the comic book. So Pete's absorbing the comic book.
Yeah, so the comic is called Masked Protector, which the fucking AI subtitles read as Mass Protector, which baffles me.
Baffling. So the next day, the family outside and Pete comes out with his surfboard and starts saying the Mass Protector lines.
Yeah, he's saying it like he actually is Mask Protector.
Yeah.
Thinks he's that. And we thought this was going to be a plot point, but it just isn't.
No. Because, you'd think, Pete's going to go to the exam and write the wrong answers down because he's a comic books in his head.
Justice or something, yeah.
But no, Pete is Justice.
Yeah, and, just walks off to surf and it's like, okay.
So is Bronson a hypnotist?
Yeah,
a wizard?
Because the idea, using the subliminal learning thing is, like it's dumb, but, all right, for a kid's show, fine. I'm not going to fucking argue with, with shit about that. If they're able to do that, that's fine. But, this takes it just a step beyond even that, and just into, oh yeah, for some reason Bronson's able to like, it's not like Pete walked out and they asked Pete what he wanted for breakfast and Pete just went justice and then looked confused at his own answer. Like, why would I think justice? It's like, no, his brain is like, Pete's asleep. The masked protector is in charge now.
It was weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pete's going off to
the fucking, surf party that Gribble's emceeing for.
Which is weird.
It's like Mark Mitchell in his fucking tiki shirt and a fucking pineapple beverage and him just, like, true to character, I did like this just really awkward surf slang usage and, gives it away to a surf, band of local children. And then Nell shows up to be horny.
Yeah, Pete's playing the guitar for some reason.
Yeah, that's not thoroughly explained.
Because he's really good.
Play guitar. Wasn't there an episode he was learning to play guitar?
Maybe.
I think there was, and I think maybe that's just connecting back to that.
Well, it's terrible because he's really good now.
Yeah, I feel like I'll give that a fair play pass because there was an episode about him trying to get good at guitar, so maybe he just did stick with it.
True.
Maybe he has legitimately been sitting around and practicing.
Pete, I misjudged you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So Nell comes roaring out of the crowd
Fucking
saying,
roaring out.
"There you are, naughty boy. You've been hiding from your Nelsy Welsy." To which Rabbit is again fleeing, saying, "I don't even like you."
That's so fucking funny. Because it reminds me of, my neighbors in Goodna had this, it was one of those tiny little dogs, and it wasn't neutered, so it was just, a rapist. And, if you were in the backyard doing anything, if someone, fell over, the dog would just try to root you. And so, if you, I don't know, run around playing, some kind of game, and then, the goal would be to, trip Steven, so he falls over, and then, here comes the rapist.
And... because you said no one wants to be molested by Nell, and I said, no, the Nellester.
I know, that one. You've been molested.
You've been molested.
So, Pete's girlfriend is horny for him. Now he can play, fucking, tiki guitar. Gribble Jr. is jealous and says, we'll see what happens at the surf tournament. And then Bronson, in another amazing moment, rolls up to all of this horny Nell chasing a child around, Pete playing guitar somehow, and just loudly declares, "What's this got to do with Australian studies?" Fuck, I loved that. That is the kind of thing you could exclaim at any fucking just gathering. What's this got to do with Australian studies? I love that he just cares so much about Pete's fucking, study than fucking Pete does. And then Autismo notices a storm brewing.
Which is tying into the whole Big Blue thing.
It's fast, but it's coherent. The none of the plot elements are really trying to be very deep or serious, so the speed doesn't hurt them. That's kind of the key thing here. I don't want horny Nell dealt with as a serious, very special episode. I don't want to have to hear Rabbit tell me what I can do if someone touches me where I don't want them to.
So Pete is planning to surf Big Blue to release Doggy.
Yeah.
Which is cool, I guess, Pete. Ghosts probably watched Pete masturbate. Because we've got no rules on how the ghost works. Because he can just appear in Pete's room.
Which he does, yeah.
He's tied, as far as I know, he's tied to the board. Maybe it's a radius thing.
Yeah, because that's always the thing. Is it's all right. He's you can imagine it's okay, I'm fucking bound to the board and some, I don't know, the beach as well. Maybe the shop. I don't fucking, And this is where you come up with the line of just
because what did he say to end it? Moondoggy, what?
I can't even remember what it was.
There's something about needing to surf, but he said,
yeah, Doggy needs to surf or something like that. It was just weirdly creepy, and already Moondoggy looks like the kind of guy that just has very flexible attitudes.
You talking about when I talked about giving him a blowjob?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm because he's Moondoggy needs something from you. And then I said, Moondoggy needs to suck your dick. We'll get out there on the wave, all bend down, and then suck your dick.
Yeah, what do the ghosts of molesters do? It's the only way my soul can pass on. Just let me slap your bum. And then you said sog my sayo, which I do think is fantastic.
All I need you to do is Sog Maseo.
Sog Messiah.
Can
If
you
you
do
know.
that, Pete? Sog Maseo.
Hey there, little buddy. Yeah, I still haven't passed on for some reason. I don't know why. Gonna need you to Sog Messiah. So then we cut to Pete and Tony arguing over doing, like, whether or not Pete's gonna do the exam so he doesn't get held back, or, you know, the surf contest, which has been stressing parents out since, like, 1959.
And, do you know, like, Tony's like, you're going to a surf contest over studying? It's like, you're throwing your life away, Pete. It's like, excuse me?
So you're a sculptor who lives in a lighthouse.
Stones and glass houses, buddy.
Yeah.
Also, Pete is in high school. If he fails one exam, it is not gonna.
He's not even in senior.
You think Pete's getting a job? You think Pete's getting a job?
Yeah.
Pete's getting on the marijuana.
Yeah, like that. Oh, yeah, no, 100%. He's getting on that fucking regional bushweed, which is a mixed blessing. I mean, like, look, if you're worried about futures here, Linda's what you want to be hitching your wagon to. Okay, she's going to university.
Yeah.
Pete would be lucky to get a trade, you know. You could play guitar, I suppose, you know. Be like Port Niranda's, like, you know, biggest pub rock group.
Pete and the Molesters.
Been molested.
Oh,
so Moondoggy sees a young man throwing his life away and decides to lie to him and tell him, hey, the cyclone's not driving it up. Big Blue ain't coming this year. And then Pete's like, oh, but what about you? He's like, oh, I'll figure something out, you know.
So he doesn't want Pete to throw his life away.
Yeah. And so then Pete is like happy at first, but then he sort of realizes, oh shit, now I have to study. And so he gallops inside to, like, beg Linda for help. Which she does, and we get a little overnight study bleep, and then, you know, next day, fucking Moon wishes him luck, and then Pete's doing the test.
He's also kind of slept in late.
Yeah, 'cause he was up all night studying.
But he made it.
Just.
At the beach, meanwhile,
The surf contest is on.
surf contest is on, and Nell is still chasing Rabbit,
She's in a cheerleader outfit for Rabbit.
which is a lot.
Yeah, it's not like what you'd call like a full like fucking porno cheerleader outfit, but it's more of a
No.
cheerleader outfit than I ever want to see Nell in.
Unfortunately, yes.
That's all for Rabbit.
Ugh. So Pete, it's getting more stormy as the day goes on. And
Yeah.
Pete can see it out the windows, and he's like, "Oh, Big Blue is coming!"
Yeah.
And immediately, in my mind was Dan, Danan, Dan, Danan. It's so good.
So then we go back to the beach. Nell's abandoned the Viking Book of Love to go try and grab the swimsuit-wearing child.
Blech.
And, you know, that's where Linda finds the Viking Book
And
of
she's
Love.
like, "Oh, my back."
And then, you know, picks it up again.
So she's got the book back in her possession. Plot upgrade.
Yeah, so that's, you know, we've been on a fun little journey with the Viking Book of Molestation. And then, like, so, you know, as the storm kicks off, now the siren's going off, you know, like, Gribble's going, the competition's cancelled, everyone, you know, come in. Everyone paddles back in, and everyone's, like, running away from the fucking giant storm beach as Pete's heading toward it, and no one stops him.
Yeah. They just go, "Hey, where are you going? You're going the wrong way."
Yep. Off I go, and, like, you know, then the family are running into the lighthouse. Pete's out there, and now because it's a storm, like, it's a really bad blue screen. And then, you know, Moondoggy shows up and says, hey, you should bail, and then Pete says he won't. And I'm like, what's the message here? You know? Like, because normally, you know, for a kid's thing to be like, all right, don't listen to dead surfers. Finish your fucking exam. You know, there'll be a fucking surf competition next year. You can probably do the surf competition next year. You know? You'll be fine. You'll be like a year older. You might have pubes and you'll be able to actually fucking, like, do something. Like, whereas this one, you know, it kind of veers into, like, oh, you know, treating Moondoggy like a friend. And to be fair, you know, Moondoggy has legitimately didn't just go, oh, let me inhabit your body so you can surf good. He actually taught him to surf.
Yeah.
And he actually did, like, go, hey, maybe I shouldn't, like, risk the child's life so I can get, you know, to my everlasting paradise. So like, all right, there's some validity, but also, what are we learning here? Finish your test before you go surfing with ghosts? I mean, that's good life advice, I suppose.
Yeah. I guess.
Do your exams, and then you can go ghost surfing.
So Pete is in the ocean now. They're seeing him in the lighthouse with binoculars.
It's like, hey, it's because it's just Bronson and Linda.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, Pete's like, and it's a tsunami. Like, it's a fucking tidal wave. It's like, stories tall, this fucking wave. And that's like, what, a fucking 14-year-old, 15-year-old kid on it?
Yeah.
14 probably. And it's just like, oh, he's going to die.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean about like, sometimes you can get away with shit if you don't highlight it. Had dad been up there watching, that's a dad watching his kid about to die. And like that carries greater logical inevitability than just Bronson and fucking Linda watching him, So you can kind of skirt the realities of like, hey, this 14-year-old boy is going to surf a tidal wave. Then, if you engage the adults, which is why I think kids are a real good vector for a lot of these sort of weird shenanigans type shows and horror as well, actually. Because you can get them to behave in ways that are plot convenient without being like stupid.
Yeah.
And so then we have, Pete and Moon surf the wave.
Which is, yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Special effects are like possible. I mean, there's not a lot you can do in terms of like this. It's just stock footage of a wave and they kind of wedged like fucking, I don't know, a surfboard in there. It doesn't look as terrible as like the season 1 and 2, but it's not what we'd call stellar.
Yeah.
Moondoggy appreciates the fact that he surfed Big Blue and bubbles away to surfer heaven.
Yeah, he gets absorbed into the wave, it looks like it.
And then just leaves Pete alone on a fucking surfboard on a tsunami and just like, and my thinking is this is where the cycle would start anew. Pete would show up to some other kid 20 years later and just be like, hey, I need you to surf this giant death wave for me, so the wave can continue to feed on souls. But that's not what happens. Instead, we get something stupider.
Yeah, Pete tries to surf the wave and he does okay for a little bit, but then he realizes, wait, shit, I'm on a tidal wave. It wipes.
He panics, yeah.
And it throws Pete and the board a comically fast speed out of the wave into the side of the lighthouse, just like Moondoggy. And
just with Pete attached.
Pete's attached to the board, crashed into it. Like the foundation shipped around him.
Yeah, like 3/4 of the way up the fucking lighthouse. And then he just falls down.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Pete is dead.
Except he's not.
He's not.
It's just...
Because in the next scene, he's just got a bandage on his head.
Yeah, he's got like a head bandage and shit.
It's just so fucking funny.
Like, I do feel like you could have just... Like, I get they set that up earlier with the fucking board being wedged to the side of the lighthouse. But, like, I figured there were slightly better ways to do that. Because this very... something that's been in the show is, like, they're still just kids, Like, they're not invincible. This isn't exactly a Warner Brothers cartoon. You can't... Like, falling off the lighthouse is a bad thing. Like, they still have the properties of human children, You can't just hurl one off a cliff and be like, I'll be right.
They're not like those Muppets or those EC kids.
Yeah. And, like, doing that now to get yourself out of a plot point when... I mean, you could just have him wipe out and get, like, slammed into the beach. Like, if you had him show up, like, the board crash into the side of the fucking, lighthouse. But this time, because he surfed it for longer than fucking Moondoggy did, he made it to the beach. And if the kids just ran down and found him buried, like, arse sticking out of the goddamn sand, fine.
Yeah.
It's goofy, but like, all right, yeah, he wiped out, got slammed into the beach. It's sand. Like, I've seen my brother get upended in the surf. It looks like that, Just, there he is. But instead, they just like, oh, fuck it, let's just get him to the fucking lighthouse straight away. And it's like, look, this is that reality level thing. It's like, yeah, all right, all of this is unreal, but this last bit was unreal to a degree that the show hasn't really done and doesn't have an explanation for. And it's like, what am I supposed to be worried he's going to fall off something now? He's just hit the ground.
He's immortal.
Yeah.
He's the immortal Pete.
He's filled with ghosts and their power. And then fucking, they're just, the next day, Pete's got head bandages and they're fucking fixing the lighthouse from, I don't know, I suppose all the fucking surfboards were whacking it overnight.
Snapper
rolls up.
arrives
Yeah.
and tells Pete his past.
Yeah, as in the great, not that he's dead, and this is all some weird dream. That would have been a fun ending. Like, oh, you died.
Snapper is the resident school teacher and mortician.
You're dead, my boy.
May I see the children?
Yeah. You'll never graduate.
And the thing I hope comes back very quickly before they move on is Nell is still the last one to be read from the book.
Oh yeah, they didn't fucking actually fix Horny Nell.
No.
Like Linda found the book, but she didn't do anything.
So
with
next
it.
episode, if they do anything with the book, I want my Horny Nell beforehand.
I
need that plot point to be resolved.
Honestly, I hope that just lingers as a thing, because that's a good way to just thwart the bullies.
Nell won't be in the episodes from now on. There'll just be a missing post to say, "Have you seen this woman?"
Just
because she got Rabbit.
Yeah, she got him.
And it's a small town, so
yeah, they're just gone.
She's gone.
Yeah, we're never gonna find out.
Nell's
what
not
happened.
coming
We're
back.
never gonna want to find out what happened there.
She molested him.
It's funny when it happens to bullies. It's funny when it happens to bullies. But yeah, that was because you had me convinced at the start. You're like, yeah, this is a fucking Pete episode.
I didn't realize it was going to be a heartfelt Pete actually does something for another human being episode.
Yeah, because him trying to impress everybody and whatnot absolutely was the motivating factor, but it just wasn't the story.
Yeah.
It did turn into something better, and it would have been easy to make Throckmorton kind of want to use Pete, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So they kept him as a good character, and he just...
It was just... Pete was better throughout the whole story just for the episode.
Yeah.
Because, he studied. He did the work. He also did the surfing thing. He did everything, and he got rewarded.
He trained.
He got rewarded with physical violence.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
Trust ghost kids. They're not just trying to sell you ghost math.
Ghost kids. Yeah, ghosts. They're fine. Especially if you see them.
Ghost drops are good.
Yeah, and this was, the end result is it's a solid episode because, it's ridiculous and it's silly. I mean, the flinging Pete into the side of the lighthouse is dumb, but that it's not enough to fucking really bring down the rest of the episode.
I disagree. -1 out of 10.
That is absolutely a Snapper thing. Snapper would be that guy. One little thing.
I wrote the episode. I like it. His voice is so ridiculous.
It was my idea to fling Pete.
Holy shit. Snapper is like Pops from Regular Show.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
God
right.
damn it, he is too. Even to the fucking mustache. That upsets me. I love Regular Show. I've watched that shit so much.
That's great. But yeah, I'm here to make the comparisons.
Fuck
I see
me.
them.
Oh, he's even got a really round head.
He does.
It's not obviously to Pops' level, but is a little bit off for his body.
We could have had a real life Pops. Kudos, Esmond Storm.
You can't wound me like that this close to the end. I'm not fucking,
Hey, we have to do the questions, and I'm wounding you because you're going to wound me.
Yeah, I fucking deserve it now. Okay, speaking of deserving it, have you ever felt like this? Have you ever been surfing? Have you ever failed an important test? Have you ever been stuck in a storm? And a fun joke question, have you ever trained like a Jedi for anything? First question, have you ever been surfing?
Yes.
What was it like?
It sucked.
Okay, what happened?
I don't know if I actually ever went surfing, or I was like, Dad, let me use board.
That counts, I'm not saying you have to have fucking placed in a tournament.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't even know how those tournaments are scored.
Fuck, I don't know. Some other flipper sits around and is like, 2 out of 10. You weren't spinny enough.
Because I understand skateboarding and all those other ones. Because you can, even if I don't know what the tricks are, you can see someone someone can pull them off or not.
You know what would make skateboard competitions way better? Yeah. If we just took the Tony Hawk's game overlay and put it over the skate. So if
see the points go up.
Yeah,
as they do.
yeah. How cool would that be?
That is a good idea. I don't know why that's not the case.
Fucking that is trademarked by the
Yeah.
KeepetClassy broadcasting corruption. Corruption? Did I say corruption?
Yeah, that's fine. So what? Did Dad give board?
Yeah, and like
Dad gave board. And
yeah, and I was just like, it's not in dangerous waters or anything.
Yeah.
You try to get up on it and you fall down because like you need a bit of propulsion to start with, and balance. It's something you learn. It's not something you just do unless someone's like holding you or something.
Especially because I'm guessing it's a bit. Because I've never stood on one. Is the thing.
Oh.
It's like that thing of you need a proper board.
Yeah.
And you need a board that can support your weight.
Yeah.
And
Which it did, but it's a water.
Yeah. The only time I was near one where the option actually came up, it was a board designed for someone who was much smaller than me, and I tried and it just sank it. So it's like, well, guess it's just boogie boarding for me, which I can do. You just lay down, relatively simple. See, like I lived on Bribey for a year, and we lived on the passage side, which is the quiet water, but you can still just go over to the surf side. And it's not like what you'd call screamingly big waves, but when you're like 5, 6 years old, it's big enough. And so like, you'd go out and then just fucking get those like slight rips at the beach and then get completely fucking absorbed by a wave and just cartwheeled into the ground. Which, did happen from time to time. Get like just fucking like beach salt water, It's like mostly salt and sand and just up your nose. I remember that happened to my brother real bad once because like, I had like an understanding that, things may hurt me. Whereas like my little brother would like look at like me doing things that I was capable of doing because I was like 4 years older than him. And he'd just go, I want to do that. And even though he was like, tiny, and so we just run out there and then just get completely fucking creamed. And I never forget seeing him stand up and just seeing like just this weird mixture of water, snot, and beach sand just coming out of his nose because he's just like fucking, it's just been blasted up there.
Yeah.
And then just him like fucking, just crying kind of, just fucking shit stumbling back to like where mum was and then just, sitting there for like maybe 30 seconds and then just like, well, trying again. Have you ever failed an important test?
Probably. Education was so long ago. Like,
I mean, a car maybe. You got a license. Was that a fucking instant process?
Yeah. No, I did fail. I know I failed one. I think I failed the learners the first time.
The test or like
the test?
Right.
Like the written test, yeah. Huh. I think. Or maybe it was for my full license. I don't know. I can't remember.
I bet it was for your full.
I feel it was because I think I put like the back tire over the line and the guy got shitty or something.
Yeah, I feel like a monkey could pass like the learners written like.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure it was the practical.
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt that.
Everyone failed the practical the first. I don't think I've ever met a human being that like got the.
I've met
practical.
people who've done it.
Really?
It just again, it depends on a person who's judging you, which is like I think people are a lot better about it these days, probably.
I mean, I hear it's real easy to pass out in the sticks. Like you can just be 12 years old and not drunk, and they'll let you drive. And like you can have had a few beers, but you just can't be drunk. You could be 12 and have like maybe had like a 1 or 2 VBs with like breakfast. But like, provided you're not like shit face, it's like, what are you gonna do? Run into something? There's nothing out there. There's nobody. You live near a salt farm. I was talking to my housemate, like, and she used to live out in like a region, of like 400 people, and just she used a phrase which just stuck in my brain, which was, well, I mean, you had to get, a lot of stuff like bottled water like shipped in because you didn't want to drink city water. Like, what? And it's like the city water was like quote unquote city water. It was just like, how like with like a real place, the water goes through a whole system so you can drink it when it comes out of a tap. Yeah, this place just didn't do that. So the taps were just connected to like a hole that like just had water in it. And you just had to have a filtration system in your house if you wanted to like ever drink out of it. Or, just drink like bottled water and shit that they ship in to spite God and common sense. And I was aghast at this.
Yeah.
You can't drink the city water.
Yeah.
It's just a hole. And I fucking do love making fun of like rural shit like that. So I was just like, oh, look out. That kettle has electricity in it.
Mm. The other test I failed was when I came back from having spinal surgery and missing the whole year. I still had to do the exams.
What did they think was going to happen?
Well, I didn't pass. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. No shit. Like, I just imagine you in like a bed and they're slapping you in the face. It's just like, hey, wake up. What? And then just a pencil in your hand. Here's some paper. Off you go.
Yeah, that sucked.
I can't remember what my name is. I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, like there was when I was just functionally tapped out of like formal education in high school when I was like just, smoking weed a lot.
Mm.
I mean, I didn't do well on my QCS the first time around. I think it was a 21 or something, which is like, basically deems you fit to work as a doorstop or rodeo clown. A guy I went to high school actually had his 2 front teeth kicked out at a rodeo. I didn't ask whether it was by an animal or a person.
Mm.
One time we were going for a walk and someone had like lit a fire in a barbecue and just walked away. So there's just this kind of like fire coming out of one of the barbecues in a park near my high school. And he just stood up on it and peed on it. And the thing is like instantly vaporized like pee steam just goes straight up. And like it, like imagine like the process of refining alcohol to get it like stiffer, except that with like pee smell.
Mm.
And so just like pure aerated pee fragrance just blasted up through his pants and his shirt and his face. And like it hit him like a ton of bricks because you just watched him go, whoa, and then basically fall off of a fucking barbecue with his dick out. And he just stunk like piss the whole day.
Ugh.
Now, the best part was he knew it. It wasn't like, he peed on himself and was like just ignorant of that fact. This was like fucking aerated, pure fucking, the kind of pee stink you'd buy at like fucking that bathtub store, for like if you wanted to smell like pee and whole rest of the day at school. Because, we were like fucking, it was like lunch and we wandered off to smoke weed.
Mm.
And so then he comes back and it's just like, well, someone in the class smells like urine. And it's like, it's the guy who had his teeth kicked out at a rodeo. What can I say, miss? It's just, it's unfortunate. The people in the rural centers live differently to us. He's not allowed to drink city water. So I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't think I've failed a test I've tried. I've pre-failed, I think would be the smart way to describe it.
You're just preloading for, more time for shenanigans.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, well, I don't want to do this, so I'm just not. Trying to think. I suppose I did fail one of my units at school, at uni, but then lots of, like, that was a weird situation because, like, a lot of, like, the bulk of the cohort failed it.
The teacher was on meth!
Like, close, yeah. It was just one of the situations where it was like, all right, because it was like, that was the first, it was either the first or second time that unit had been taught. And so at a university, there's like basically, if one person fails, it's like, all right. But if like it's a new unit and like fucking, or half the fucking students fail, then it's one of those things where you can start blaming the university.
Yeah,
so it's like, all right, look, something probably wasn't communicated very well. Fortunately, it wasn't a very important one though, so I still got to graduate. It's just like, whatever. I could have retaken it, but I was just like, I don't want to do that again. That was pointless. Okay. Have you ever been stuck in a storm?
Guess what?
Define stuck.
Exactly, that's what I was about to say. Because, like, I've been around when there's been bad floods. And
so especially where you're living now is down in the it's low.
Yeah,
the sea and
it hasn't been anything here, but like remember when I used to live at out of the reserve?
Yeah,
I was just shut off.
Yeah, that
I couldn't
time we
come
were
out.
driving home just before it kicked off, and then suddenly we just hit water.
Yeah,
it was just like, hey, what?
Yeah, Whole roads underwater, so we couldn't leave our house area. Or so it was like,
Yeah, you're in this like weird little like because it is funny because all the area around where you lived, every bit went really low, and then you had to go up a hill to kind of get to where they built the housing development area and shit, and so the result is like when it floods, which it did because it's like the lowest point in Brisbane or some shit, like. That's just you're not flooded, but also you're not connected to Brisbane anymore.
no.
You're like some weird little peninsula, or your own. You can just have your own laws.
I'm the governor.
Yeah, and you ride majestic pelican, which some just came out to hang out there, and I don't think they left.
No, they're just teasing the locals
Just
now.
fucking freshwater pelicans going around eating fucking.
I kind of want to do that. If I
freshwater
was really,
pelican.
yes. Now, if I was really rich, just take things like that and put them places. Because, like, anyone.
I'm going to shuffle the animals.
That's exactly it. Because I mean, if anyone can go somewhere and put a statue, right? If I go put a goddamn whole live animal, that animal's will is its own, and I'd like to see that.
Kangaroos are now native to Italy. Silence.
Because they go on about climatizing, right? Like, you can't bring a wild animal into an ecosystem that already exists because it's either going to kill off another piece of the link.
Yeah, you either have generally applicable skills like, cats and rats and shit.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to fucking, you're a hyper. Like, you can't put koalas anywhere.
And that's why if we shuffle them all at once, it works.
Yeah, I feel like we got to start doing that with Australian animals.
Maybe
I feel like
if
there
koalas start eating bamboo, they'll be better. Lazy
Like-
fucks.
I know. It's that real bummer thing where it's like, all right, you lived in Australia and that sucks. And the only thing that you could eat was a leaf that is legitimately poisonous to everything else. And so you're hyper specialized to eat this poison leaf and specialized to the point where you won't eat it unless it's actually attached to a tree. And it's only a few kinds of this specific poison leaf. And it's like, look, I get that we're wrecking shit, but also you kind of got to try and meet us halfway here. Like you got to help. I feel like, because I know California's got like fucking eucalypts because they explode in summer and set the place on fire.
Which is very funny.
I know. And I feel like we got to do stuff. We got to like Australia's revenge this. We got to start putting Australian animals around.
It's like Risk, but with Australian animals.
Yeah, it's like, all right, smart guy, now you're going to have like, wallabies. That's, there are probably places they could get on fine. I mean, they just eat grass.
I think we put the roos in the ghetto.
There's not a lot of lawn there. Although, I don't know, maybe they'll just be like possums and eat.
They're just going to eat the marijuana. They'll become hood roos.
Would they eat weed?
I feel if they're hungry enough.
I would like to see more animals high. But I can't. It's difficult because it's one of those things where like I can't internally justify going around and just like fucking giving a bunch of animals blowbacks because they mightn't be ready for it, and I don't want to do that to them. But there are also animals that like will go after that shit because they enjoy it too, and like you kind of want to just sort of feel out who might be pretty chill and who isn't in the animal kingdom, because I do want to see like that does interest. Like I'm always fascinated when creatures are like I like getting high. Because it means there's something in there that's like, oh, this is fun. Like, it represents consciousness in like a very interesting way to me. It's like there's like those areas, tourist areas in like Southeast Asia and India and shit where like there's just monkeys.
Yeah.
And some of them will become alcoholics.
Yeah.
Like just hard alcoholics. Like they will just get drunk all the time. Some of them can drink sometimes and enjoy themselves and then not become like a fucking wastrel. And some of them don't drink at all. And it's so fascinating that seems to be also in monkeys. And I mean like monkeys, like a little fucking...
Yeah.
We're not talking like a bonobo, which is kind of like just a hairy person, It's like that says a lot like about how humans relate to alcohol, that like this same thing seems to happen to monkeys. And I saw one great moment of a monkey fucking like just blackout, passed out, hungover in the sun near a fucking like, tourist area. And just like someone trying to scare it away, one of the workers at the, local cafe just slam a fucking table down near it. And you see the monkey wake up, just realize that it's hungover as shit, look over at what the noise was, and be like, oh God, come on. Like you saw that, please just whatever this is, does it have to happen now kind of expression on like a capuchin.
Yeah.
And that, that's another one of those things of like, I've literally experienced exactly that, except I was asleep under the kitchen table. And I sort of fucking feel for that. I've been stuck in a few storms.
Yeah.
Like, I've been outside. Back in the day, like, you had to, like, walk to your dealer's house and, like, going and getting weed and then coming on the way back. It's just, like, one of those fucking hailstorms,
Yeah.
rolled in. And it's just realizing halfway between, like, fucking Highgate Hill and West End, which isn't a very long way, but it's long enough, it's about a half-hour walk each way, that I am in danger. Because, like, the sky is angry. And like, I just, because when you're walking along and you just see, like, a fucking, golf ball-sized bit of hail hit the fucking bitumen and, like, half explode, but not because it's really hard.
Yeah.
And then you just, it's a shocking moment because you're like, suddenly you're just back on the food chain. Suddenly it's like, I must find cover. And fortunately there was one of those, like, old 1960s fucking, like, bus shelters, which is like an actual shelter. You could just get under and just be like, all right, there's like wood and metal above me.
A sign is not a shelter.
Yeah. It wasn't just like, a pole. Like, I'm going to hide under pole and be okay from this. It's like, fuck no. And even then, like, fucking, it's just absolutely going batshit. I remember walking to my dad's house one time, and this was what finally, like, dissolved, like, this ancient leather jacket. Where I was just, I was walking from West End to my dad's house in Hurston, that's a much longer walk. That was like an hour and a half walk. And it just started pissing down, like a good while into it. And I just, I could turn around and be this wet still at home, or I could just keep fucking walking. I was like, well, off I go. And it just kept up.
Yeah.
Like, it was like torrential fucking rain for like an hour of just walking through it. And by the time I got there, the color, like pretty much all the fucking, I don't know, whatever the tanning element or something had been like just blasted out of the fucking jacket. Like, that's fucking dead. My wallet was barely functional. Like, fortunately that was like pre-carrying a phone everywhere, because that thing would have been fucking, soaked. I mean, I'm trying to think if I've ever been trapped in, like, probably like lightning or wind or some shit. I mean, there's been a few windy ones, but nothing like, like a cyclone or something hit like Gold Coast. Like, I think it was last year or the year before or something, which is really funny to me. Like, just of all places, like, because there's a lot of like those glass buildings and whatnot.
Yeah.
I just feel it's really funny that it hit the Gold Coast, because like you could really do a lot of damage there.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's like weather wizard shit. It's like, I'm going to smash up all these fancy-ass buildings with my own cyclone. Like, all right, here you go, cunts. And there's all those houses that are on those man-made fjords. And, like, half of those got flooded and shit. It's like, none of the Gold Coast should be.
No.
I think, the key takeaway here. It's an affront to God.
If anyone can make me a weather device, hit me up. I could be a villain in this economy.
Yeah. Again, like, we need someone who's like stealing, monuments.
Yes.
Because I feel like there'd be ways to do that. Like, I feel like I could steal a monument if everyone was in high vis gear, and we were just like digging around. It's like, what are you doing? Oh, we're finishing this today. And you just hand them a big old pile of paper that's all just, long form written, explaining departments and shit. Just really bore them and just like, I'm not stealing. We're just doing some, some basic like, work around the fucking base of like the Washington Monument. It needs, you got to make sure it stays up. It might fall down. So we're just getting that sorted. And then you just, but by the time the helicopters are lifting the thing out, no one's going to believe they're watching what they're watching. And then it's too late. Now you got to pay me to get it back. Or I might just put it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Got your monument.
And I just make monuments for countries that don't have them. You don't get to choose. Now I'm in charge.
Yeah. We'll just put a big bronze statue of you in Myanmar.
Heck yeah.
Like, here you go. Have a national monument. Everyone else has one.
I want to put a statue of Mario in Italy.
Yeah, but like without his mustache. The creepy mustache-less Mario.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
This is your god now.
Yeah, cause we were going to put mustache Mario here, but like, you know what Nintendo were like, so here you fucking go. Let this cursed object be forevermore a blight upon your land.
Oh, Lord.
Have you ever trained like a Jedi for anything? Once again, I'm drawn back to you getting your license.
Wait, what did you say again?
Have you ever trained like a Jedi for anything?
Good question. Good Lord.
I mean, intensive,
for fighting games.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. There was like, the Jedi-ish, the most Jedi I think I've seen you get was that time you'd smoke just the right amount of weed.
Yeah.
And just, because that was what really annoyed me, is because I knew that this was some weird temporary thing you'd never be able to replicate. And you were just flogging me. Like, it was like you were 2 seconds in the future.
I remember.
And you saying shit like, I can hear your teeth. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then you just proceed to pull off like fucking loops and combos I know you can't do.
Was that the night we drank the $2 wine?
No.
Okay,
I think
good
it was a different
Lord.
night. The $2 wine night, the $2 wine night was just we were drunk.
Oh.
There was that. There was a night where you just, like, you'd gotten weed.
I remember it, yeah. Because I do remember turning to you just going, Gabriel, I can hear your teeth.
I know. I'm just getting angrier and angrier.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, half the time I don't think you were even looking at the screen properly.
No.
Like, you were just kind of looking past it.
I was in the Matrix.
Yeah.
I had become John Matrix.
Isn't that the character's name in Commando?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure it is, actually. Now that I think
It was
about
funny because me and my girlfriend were watching a Street Fighter 4 tournament, and whenever T-Hawk was on the screen, we'd call him a different name every time. We call, like, oh, who's that? That's Thomas Hawk. It's Timothy Hawk.
Tobias.
Yeah, and just putting different T names every time we saw him, and that was very fun.
Tim Botheus.
I got an 18-year-old in Street Fighter 4. It's a beauty of a thing.
How old is that game now?
It came out in 2009. She was 4.
Yeah, see, that's the crazy thing is I remember, like, playing that at the arcade.
Yeah.
Like, and fucking in the middle of Chun's fucking super where she does the kicks and then the kicks, like in between the 2 sets of kicks, busting out Vinyl Atomic Buster. Just being like, and then it came out on like a fucking console. I was like, wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're back.
And it made Capcom a lot of money and a lot of stuff. And then they nearly killed fighting games once again when they released Cross Tekken. That was a time.
That is a roller coaster. Now we're fucking back. SNK are making a fighting game every 15 minutes. Street Fighter's popular.
What a time.
Yeah. We just need, like, we're almost back to everything being comfortable and good again.
Almost, yeah.
Almost. Okay. And now we're up to the absolutely horrifying fucking letters from our fans for last week's questions. So, I got the first email. Have you ever had, tried, or wanted a beard? No, for similar reason that was mentioned in last episode. I don't like beard culture or people whose beard is their personality. I have the same problem with hat people and fans of Bubsy.
Okay, I love the way just you're emphasizing the first word, hat people.
It's in quotes.
Oh, okay, that's even better.
Yeah, like it is hat people.
That's great.
Yeah. I like, Croshaw tries to hide from, but that is him. He wasn't exactly patient zero, but I mean, he was the internet's patient zero for that. I love to grief him on that. And fans of Bubsy, which is weird. I don't think I've ever met an actual fan of Bubsy.
I'm a fan of Bubsy.
Yeah, but I feel like that's more ironic,
No, I really do love Bubsy. Like, I remember growing up with Bubsy and being like, I love this shit. It was amazing. They used it as one of the competition games. And I'm like, this Bubsy. I love this shit. And then I'm like, whoa, I'm a furry. Bubsy. I love this shit. And then, like, Bubsy became a trans woman for a while when the IP was floating around the internet.
Yeah, no, that's great because
I'm like, whoa, I love Bubsy.
I can't even remember how I found that. But
You found it. It was on DeviantArt or something. But
yeah, no, I can't remember what I was looking up stuff through with Bubsy, and it was just like someone on DeviantArt had just come up with this whole fucking lore of Bubsy being like this pre-op transsexual whose life had fallen apart. Like, it wasn't just this is trans Bubsy, because that wouldn't be as entertaining.
No,
it was just
there's a story.
Yeah, like this
became a prostitute. It's great. And I mirrored my life after Bubsy, you see.
Like I stand by that because that was entertaining.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you come up with something. Have you ever fucked up shaving? I shifted careers, but I did spend 6 months trying to get a barber's license. Huh. I didn't even know you had to be licensed.
Do you think anyone can do it? You fool!
Can do it, no.
The power of the barber in your very own hands?
I mean, yeah, you can just, like, fuck people up, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta look
You're
like
holding
that
a
now.
blade.
I wasn't even thinking about, like, cutting them. I was thinking making them look like idiots.
Oh, okay.
You know, which I do. I would rather be cut than,
If I
like...
had a superpower, it would be to take any portion of someone's left eyebrow that I could. Just, and then, like, the middle part would disappear.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Eyebrowsius.
And if I could add it somewhere else on their face, that'd be great. Or body.
Then, like, that's one of those ones where they'd power scale you by having you realize, but wait, the head hair is just an eyebrow, but higher. And now you can just control hair. It's an eyebrow if you believe it.
Fuck.
Barber's license. That is funny. While I never messed up my own shave, I sliced more than a couple of friends trying to practice straight razor trimming. Thankfully, they teach you to clean a cut and, more importantly, not to panic. Ever botched a gift? After a 16-hour workday, I was frantically looking for a gift to send a friend in Texas for his child's 2nd birthday. I settled on a gun. No. I settled on 5 jumbo-sized bags of gummy bears, weighing in at 25 pounds total. That's solid. I mean, I don't know what it is about gummy, but it gets me. Like those fucking sour babies.
Gummy?
Yeah.
My brain made links. Because I went to the confectionery warehouse the other day, and I just gotta tell you, I'm pissed off because the international monsters, when you're trying to work out what the fuck they are hard. Because this one's just called Monster Assault. Am I gonna drink it and punch someone in the face? And because it's not in English, like, it can't describe it. But then, even the ones that are in English, the one from the UK was called Mixed. And it said it was a classic monster flavor with a mix of tropical. And I'm like, oh, that sounds lovely. Sounds lovely, don't you think?
Tropical.
What do you think the tropical tastes like, Gabriel?
Prosciutto.
I wish. I did have one that does taste like Prosciutto, and it's awesome.
See, now you're talking.
But this one tasted like fake cherry.
Oh, is that why your car stinks like fake cherry?
No, that's the fake cherry air freshener to mask the smell of weed. But ironically, it did smell like that. It tasted like that smell.
I'm just broadly disappointed in your behavior.
But anyway, it tasted like fake cherry.
Okay. Yeah,
I wasn't happy.
That is one of the single worst flavors. I don't know why it still exists. I think we as a species could wipe that out.
I think so.
I don't think children ever need to know what that shit tastes. It doesn't taste like cherry. It doesn't taste nice.
Yeah.
It's
like
it's just there to like fuck you up when you're going for jelly beans. And
my
shit.
point is, I was there and I saw big gummies, and that's why I thought of that.
How big?
Like things of them.
Oh, you
bags
mean like a big
and stuff.
bag? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
big bag, not like a giant gummy.
Yeah, no, I thought you were talking about like a giant.
Nah, I have seen some of those.
Yeah,
I saw one that was like about the size of a bread loaf once.
See, that's like generally I'd get that. Like if that's a fucking impromptu purchase. Like if we were at the candy store and I saw a gummy like the size of your head, I'd just be like, oh fuck yeah, I'll get that. Anything bigger than that is like, all right, steady on. We just got to think this through now. Because like, do I want a gummy the size of a fridge around? Because that's got to be a thing. We got to like, I don't know, get a bunch of fucking 8-year-olds and see if we can, get them to fucking piranha that thing, All right, so I settled on 5 jumbo-sized bags of gummy bears weighing in at 25 pounds total. I remember having a laughing fit about it after hitting the buy button. To this day, I can't remember what I found funny about it. My friend contacted me a week later. He had returned from a vacation and the gummies had sat in Texas' summer heat for 4 days, and each bag had morphed into a single rainbow glob of gummy. I am unsure if this qualifies as botched. Have you ever been chased by a mob at night?
Oh, I remember this question.
This is great.
I was hoping someone would answer it.
Yeah, no. Well, someone did, and like the opening part of this sentence is amazing. During the Bush administration, there was a lot of heat around immigration laws. My small town in Santa Maria in California, which was made up largely of immigrants, my family included, had a community protest group that planned a nighttime flag run. As I recall, it was one of those poorly thought out, they can't arrest us all protest ideas. I didn't get the memo. So when I stepped out of a 24/7 donut shop after a night of cramming for a test, I saw torches, like flashlights, Mexico flags, and some lowriders barreling down the street toward me. I froze and they ran past me. I was fine. But to this day, I still have nightmares about that scene. You really don't know how scary 40 or 50 people moving quickly in one direction is until you see it, especially in the dark. It's a bigger crowd than you'd think. I attempted to look up the protest flag run as it was on the news, but I can't find it. It was pre-everything on YouTube. Final note, they can't arrest us all idea is stupid. Sure, the police can't arrest you all, but they don't have to. And they can have a lot of painful ways to make that clear. What I like about that is, like, is the lowriders. You know? Like, because there's got to be a situation where someone's fleeing something and the only vehicle they've got to hand is a lowrider. And I'm pretty sure you can just not have the hydraulics going, but still, just the idea of, like, you know, everyone driving away from something really fast, but then, like, one car just pulling up the rear going boing, 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 like, up on the sides and shit. Although I think if, like, there were zombies and shit, you could use that to, like, fucking, you know, get around them and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure you could, like, you know, because a lot of cars will just get stuck. You can't drive through, like, 100 people. Like, the car will get jammed, and then now you're in a little sardine can waiting for them to open it. But if you had a lowrider, you could, like, bounce the front to, like, get a bit. You could bounce the back, and you could just, like, kind of like an inchworm made of Mexican culture, just fucking bounce your way over the zombies to freedom. I do like that, like, giving cars Mario jumps just became a thing. You know? Organically. Like, it wasn't like
That's
today.
crazy.
Yeah, like someone was just like, hey, what if we made a car that jumped? You'd be like, oh yeah, that's a natural, like, I can understand that being a 2024 idea. But just like, hey, what if, like, you know, we've got hydraulics in this car. What if I just, like, fucking juiced it up? You know? Fucking made it so I could just launch the fucker. I mean, I've seen, like, the gatherings and shit, but I'm kind of curious if they do any, there should be, like, an Olympic sports style thing to it, you know? Where, like, it's like drag race, but at the end there's, like, a jump. And you got to see how far you can make the fucker jump. You know, like car long jump. Now I'm interested. Otherwise, the drag race is just like, oh yeah, who can go forward? And, like, you know, that's really that's a matter of engineering. You know, that's an engineer's competition. Steering the car, knowing when to push the launch me button. You know, that's a sport. Okay, next email. Hello and welcome back, Twisted Sister and Mister. I have felt like this. For some context, I grew up being raised as a cis girl and I identify as a non-binary woman. 1. Ever wanted a beard? Yes. I used to tell my friends that I wish I could try a full Dumbledore beard. Just braid it or style it really cool. I've always liked the badass biker beards and wanted to have that Gimli aesthetic if I were a dude. By the way, Gabe, I really like your beard, Gabe. I can tell you put effort into making it look good and it suits you. Honestly, like, I do just wash it and straighten it. Like, that's
taking care of it.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, that, you know. I mean, the straightener I need, because I feel like when I was born, a cow just licked my whole head. You know, like, just a full, like, because, like, there's bits of it just, the hair on my head just goes directions. I feel like I absorbed a twin in the womb, you know, and there's just, like, I've got half somebody else's hair going on, because, like, it'll just, if I don't straighten the beard, literally the left-hand side of it just sticks out at a different direction, and that's a problem. And I have, like, 2 whirls on my head for some reason, and that, like, every time I get my hair cut, like, with a new barber or whatever, they're always like, huh, like, you know, hey, look at this oddity, you know?
Just sending photos of you on the barber's Facebook.
Yeah, just give me a second. I just got my friends in. I got a Facebook group that just needs to laugh at something that isn't you. As an adult, I now realize how much maintenance it is to take care of not just facial hair, but any body hair in general, and this will lead to the shaving story, but I tend to try keeping everything short and regularly trimmed. The irony is that now I'll get stray, thick black hairs that I have to constantly pluck out of my chin, and one in particular that grows in the middle of my cheek I've named Bertha. 2. Ever fucked up shaving? Of course. I've had the usual cuts that anybody will inevitably get by accident or when you're still learning to shave. But there are a couple of times that I decided to completely shave my head. The first time is out of curiosity, and yes, some questionable sanity. The 3 other times after that were the result of trying to cut my own hair and taking a nice big chunk out of it and just saying, oh well. In addition, I have ended up with what I call hobbit ankles when trying to shave my legs because I didn't think it to be that thorough. Ever botched a gift? I really feel like, you know, so you could just use the goo. I always feel like if you're going to be shaving anything that's not like a face and like, you know, even with your face, because, you know, you had the acne thing and you always have very, very sensitive. Like, I've got pretty sensitive skin, but I can still shave okay. You know, like, I figure you just use the goo.
The goo, the problem with goo is it burns a lot of people.
Does it?
Yeah, it burnt the shit out of me. I did not like it.
Because I smothered it, like, the one time I've used it, I smothered it all over my junk. Yeah, that was fine.
Did you get the one that can be used down there?
I don't know. It was fucking.
I
It's my girlfriend's.
I
Like,
assume so.
yeah, she was like, "Hey, let's
Because
see
like
what."
there's specialty ones for certain areas. Because
Oh,
like the
okay.
thing is, it's a chemical formula that burns your hair off.
No, I think I
So
gathered
like
that
yeah,
much.
yeah.
But like I was just like,
No, I put it on my arms and like even before the recommended time, it started like burning. So like I had to take it off.
This is not a lot of good ways if the goo doesn't work, is it? Because then you just fucking it's like it's shave, pluck.
You shouldn't pluck bad.
Yeah, I'm just going through the ones I knew in my head.
Yeah, generally like laser
lasers.
hair removal or electrolysis. Electrolysis is hardcore though, because that's where they electrify hair by hair instead of like doing one area at once. Like it wraps around each hair follicle.
That is fucking insane.
It is.
How long does that take?
For example,
The kind of like
to do like the right section under my cheek there, would have taken an hour. Just that section.
I suppose like an hour, but like an hour's not terrible, and at least that's that done then. Because like that fucks it up for like a long time, doesn't it? It doesn't grow back.
Oh, it's gone.
Like gone.
It's well, like again, differs from person to person.
Probably
it is supposed to be gone.
Yeah.
Because generally, what happens is if you get laser, if you want laser hair to removal to be permanent, you get lots of laser sessions to a point where it's kind of. Sometimes laser won't get rid of it all.
Lasers are like surface, but they can get the fucking thing. Whereas electrolysis is like it's pulling it out.
So after that, then you go have electrolysis because you don't. Otherwise, if you start with electrolysis, only use electrolysis, you will be in there forever. Because okay, okay. The more hair there is, the worse.
So you laser the ones you can get off, and then you go for the electrolysis.
Like people with lighter hair, laser doesn't work on. The lighter it is, the worse it is because it absorbs the light. The darker it is.
Right. So yeah, just like real light hair.
Yeah.
Just like hee hee hee.
Apart from that, there's waxing.
I mean, waxing I'm aware of, but also waxing just feels like I'm trying to think of like what's the simplest, most pain-free option.
Shaving. That's it, really.
I mean, like, I get, everyone's got like razors around, I suppose, but like, fucking, I don't know. Like, I just, again, like, it was literally like a girlfriend made a joke about like, seeing what my junk would look like without pubes. I was like, all right, because I don't care. Like, you're the one that's interacting with it. I don't give a flying fuck. If it gets my dick touched more, sure. Put your name in it. I don't give a flying fuck. And it was just so easy. It was like, I get in the shower, fucking smother my junk with this like goo, leave it for like 10 minutes, and then just, oh, look, the hair's gone. And it was like, because all I've done is just like, women will yammer on like, it's hard and blah, blah, blah. And then I go do it, and it was like, well, that was like 5 minutes of my life where I was just doing nothing. That's nothing. So I'm like, I don't know, either you've been fucking pitching a titty fit, or maybe the goo didn't. Maybe that's a particularly recent form of formulation of goo. I can imagine it was hard in the 1800s. Having to probably just fucking shave with like a fucking, I don't know, a bit of wood. I imagine that would have been a challenge. But just like, I don't know. Like right over, penis and balls. I was fine. Nothing,
How to you?
Yeah. I didn't know it could like, I mean, I imagine your skin is like just really fucking sensitive. Like if you're having that much trouble shaving your face generally, I figure you've just got like,
The rest of my body's fine.
Oh.
Just my face. Because I remember that's where I had the acne.
Yeah.
Because that, like, acne makes it so the skin's uneven.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. It's definitely better now because I've had so much leisure that I don't have to shave as often. Because, like, that's the thing. You're just doing it every day.
I think in general, your acne scarring is a lot less visible these days.
Well, that's also what the laser does. It kind of fills it in.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Technology's nuts.
I know. I still think about that. Like, it's one of those like really funny cruelties of life. It's just like, you could just have acne when you're like 80 and who cares? Like that could be when the skin has to deal with this shit. Just the idea of that happening when you're like fucking pubescent is just like when it's the most inconvenient to your life. When it can really scar your soul, when it can become a long-term fucking thing. But at least lasers work now. Ever botched a gift? I used to put more effort and thought into gift giving, but now I reserve that for only a handful of people I'm close to. When I was a teenager, I tried getting my dad a headlamp for his birthday. He said he wanted a particular one from Home Depot, and I went and bought what I thought was the right one. He has always been notoriously difficult to get gifts for, but this time was a doozy. Not just because he was being a stickler about wanting the one he had specified, but because of what happened next. I drove him back to the store so that he could exchange the one I had gotten him, because he had already opened it and I didn't save the receipt, intentionally I might add, because he always does this shit. It took some haggling in order to be able to exchange it in the first place. We eventually found the one he originally wanted and brought it home. He opened that one, decided he liked the one I got him better, and then went back to exchange it again. His birthday is 2 days before Christmas, and we live where it snows quite heavily during that time. As you can imagine, everyone involved was quite pissed off. That's incredibly funny. At least that means you got him the right gift, you know? Like, I feel like I'd bring that up every other time. It's like, I don't want this one. It's like, yeah, you said that about the headlamp, remember? And then who was right? You know? Like, it's important to store these away. You just need to. Like, it's just how you got to deal with, like, you know, parents and old people. You know, like, it took me... Mum used to go to a website called sudoku.org and fucking download Sudoku and send those Sudoku to a fucking printer and print Sudoku on the front and the back of the paper to save paper and do Sudoku. And I'm there going, Mum, if I get your fucking tablet, you can just have Sudoku. It'll infinite Sudoku. You can just, I swear, and just the resistance I got from this bullshit. And then finally I got her a fucking tablet. And then I just did it. I was just like, no, you just, here, look, fiddle with this. Look, here's like, I'll just fucking Sudoku app with no ads. There we go. And then now, you know, let's just fucking play Sudoku on the goddamn app. But God, that was just like, look, just please, just let me just fix this, please. I can't watch you turn paper around and print fucking Sudoku on the backside of the fucking paper.
Hey, that's her world, man.
Yeah, but I was right. She likes the fucking app Sudoku because it's infinite Sudoku. It's like I fucking said. It's like, no, you don't have to go. You could just go, I'd like to play 400.
You just broke an age-old tradition of Sudoku. I hope you're happy. Your ancestors are spitting in their graves.
Ever been chased by an angry mob through the night? Not me personally, but I remember going to a barbecue at my cousin's neighborhood where he got chased by some fangirls down the street. I think we were 12. Beware pre-adolescent hormones, I guess. I feel like that needs more explanation. Like, why did your fucking cousin have fangirls? You know?
That's disturbing. I'm assuming the cousin...
The cousin, one of the Backstreet Boys?
Probably. The one who looks 20 years older than the rest.
Which one's that? I don't know enough about the Backstreet Boys.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Which was the one that just got busted for drunk driving?
That was Justin Timberlake from NSYNC.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, NSYNC and Backstreet Boys are different. I do not remember details like that.
Let me look at the Backstreet.
You know what I like? Because fangirls is sort of in quotes, but still, you know, like. So it's probably like I don't know, just a bunch of girls who are horny for him. But I still feel like that raises questions that I do need answered. You know. I mean, granted, like, you know, all right, when a bunch of boy crazy girls, like, that's where all that bacchanal shit comes in.
This guy just looked older than everyone else. He wasn't, but he looked older than everyone else.
Alexander James McLean.
Yeah.
Looks kind of like early 40s B-Real from Cypress Hill. Like, I feel like there's, you know, all right, like, not an angry mob, that's a horny mob, but still, you know, like, well, I'll let that pass, but, like, cousin chased by fangirls, like, that's, God, that is gonna, because if anyone said that, I was, like, chased by a fucking pile of fangirls, you'd be like, well, you can't end there. Like, that's not the fucking end of that story. Are you one of the Logans? What's going on here?
The Logans.
This is what I mean about, like, you know, our audience. Just baffling creatures. Deeply worrying in a lot of ways, but, you know, they're all right. So if you would like to baffle us, send your answers to ihavefelt-like-this@yahoo.com. All lowercase, just I have felt like this, no spaces, no underscores, none of your nonsense shenanigans. Remember, today's questions are: have you ever been surfing? Have you ever failed an important test? Have you ever been stuck in a storm? And have you ever trained like a Jedi for anything? So send those answers to ihavefelt-like-this@yahoo.com. and we will read them on the show and potentially make fun of you, or just be in general confused by the way you live your lives.
Or you might do the impossible. You may impress us.
Don't aim for that. It would be my advice, because you'll fall flat on your face and it'll just make it worse. Just allow, you know?
No, live up to my expectations, damn it.
Judgmental.
Look, I don't get much in my life. Give me this.
Yeah. We have to sit here and embarrass ourselves, with my fucking pube goo and, Amber's face lasers. Least you can do is, embarrass yourselves.
Just remember, if you ever think you're embarrassing, just remember, I wear a dog collar every day of my life.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Don't be embarrassed. Own yourself. You know who you are. Give me your secrets.
Give me your secrets. I'm going to trade them to Rumpelstiltskin.
He's got some good deals, man.
Yeah.
He has an 80-inch flat screen.
Yeah.
He's like, I think he just robbed JB Hi-Fi, to be honest.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I think he's just a short Irish dude. But I mean, where am I going to get an 80-inch fucking OLED for secrets? Okay, this has been I Have Felt Like This. No, this has been fucking Ever Felt Like This. I'm one of your hosts, Gabriel Twist. You can find me on Twitter at Gabriel Meat, I think. I can't remember what
That's it,
one
I
is.
think.
got
It sounds
yelled at.
right.
Yep, Gabriel Meat.
I am Amber Twist. You can find me on the internet at Ambercules. If you would like to see the fighting game stuff I do, please follow T.O.'s Best Friend. It is the stuff we do. We run tournaments and we don't run production. It's fun. Play fighting games. Play the Round the Twist fighting game coming soon.
You can watch you play Under Night in Birth. You can... Have you put the video of me absolutely ruining your life at Guilty Gear up yet?
Yeah, it's there. It's just it's
That's a good one.
It's hidden for our patrons right now.
All right, okay.
Soon. But
That's
yeah.
a little preview for you at home.
Yeah. Until next time.
Toodaloo.
Bye.